Hi guys, welcome back to another reaction video and thoughts here on Our Eyes Your Eyes. I'm ready to watch episode 21 of Vinland Saga season 2, but before starting this video I just want to remind you, as always, to keep subscribing to the channel, click on the notification bell, leave a like to support me, and feel free to join me till the end of this second season, plus all other stories coming after this one. Okay, in the previous episode we saw lots of great things, and now I think it's time for the episode, the moment in which Knuto is meeting Thorfinn. Let's see what's going to happen today. Are you ready to join me with this? Check it out. They killed all of them. I thought that was a snake. Okay. Not yet. But why? You did all this mess? Why are you faking It's just a plus of what you have done so far. Oh, come on, that's too hypocrite. Knuto, I mean, look at what's in front of you. You think you acted right? In fact, it's a stupid. I suppose. Well said, Swain. It will never reach that path. It will go where Thorfinn was, on the contrary. Einar. Thorfinn went. Yes, he forgot about Thorfinn for a second. But don't worry. That's all, Mar. Courage. Okay. Wow, you are surrounded by all these situations, Olmar. Oh, I can feel the pain. Olmar feels guilty. That's the girl. That's the girl of the beginning of the season. What the f? Well, Olmar, you can't run away from all these. He's losing his mind, but I can quite understand him. He's pursued by all these. That's the perfect reaction, Olmar. I can feel you. Everything is so disgusting. No, no, he's fine, but he feels guilty because everything started from that moment. What the heck? Come on, Thorfinn. What the? But no. Oh, come on. Oh! He's still alive. What the F? Yes! Olmar! Because he was supposed to stay there? Oh no, what you're going to decide. You should say let's stop fighting instead, Olmar. Who cares about being a Norseman, yo? Oh. No, it's not embarrassing. It's not embarrassing. You're right, completely right. Who cares? He changed his mind. But yeah, but he understood. Good job. Very good. We should stop thinking like this, Torgil. No, he didn't did something good. No, no, no. Yosh. Very good, Olma. No, you're not. Uh, you shouldn't accept it. You should defend yourself without killing anyone. There's a way in between. Nothing is totally black or totally white. But thank God, you can't be like him. Good, good, good. You shouldn't care about that. But you should also be free to live freely over there. Hmm. Oh no! Yeah, but anyway, Knuto shouldn't impose himself on all of them. Olmar did the right thing, but now he... Yes. You can be as angry as you want, but they are not cowards. You are a coward because you defend yourself just because you want to be violent. And you don't want to find other ways. Yes. In fact, the result is incredibly beautiful. Totally agree with this. Oh no, things that Thorfinn went. No, it's okay. He trusts Thorfinn now. Yes, we should respect that. Yeah. Yes. Yes. Don't worry. He will do the right thing. Okay, I think it's time, guys. Oh no, that's all, Mara. No? Huh? Wait. Oh my, I can't wait. Who cares about all these kind of stupid things? Go ahead and do what he said. Yes. 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 Yes, dear. You can laugh about it, but it was true. Who cares what you have seen? Yes. No, Thorfinn will not respond as you want. Don't touch his mother. I mean, his thought about his. Oh, oh, come on, go and check. But tell the name. Say the name. Say the name. Yes. Oh, yes. The only person who touched your face. You should, Knut. Oh! What a coward. What a coward. Mm-mm. What a coward. Thorfinn is not lying. No matter how much you punch or try to catch him, see ya. Ooh, Thorfinn. Hey, Naro. No, he will not go back. You found the wrong one this time, huh? Oh! Go ahead. He's real. No problem. Be careful, Thorfinn. No, it's not for Ketil. Yes, he is not doing it for Ketil, but for the environment. Yes, yes, yes. Thank you for the music. He is also doing it for Arneid, so... Unfortunately, he's right. No, you will not kill him. How much I love Thorfinn in this. Oh, the episode is finished. Wow, guys, another amazing episode that even in this case is different from the previous one, but it has so many mixed feelings included that, yeah, makes me want to say once again, wow, I'm so happy that I decided to follow this story since the beginning. It's something that I have never expected to reach this huge level. And now I understand more than ever when people are saying that season 2 is definitely better than season 1. I'm not talking bad about the first season, but if the story would have gone like this on and on and on as in the previous season, probably we would have had a description of Vikings that was the usual one. I mean, when we watch Vikings movies, Vikings TV series, we have an image of them. It's the usual. And it's not something atypical, something that goes in another direction. But Vinland Saga has this great opportunity to take us by starting talking about Vikings, to take us, yes, to another destination. And the destination is something really amazing, something that we all wish for, but it's really hard to achieve most of the times. I want to start talking about the title of the episode that it perfectly matches with the personality of two different characters. One is Olmar and the other one is Thorfinn. I wanted to start with Olmar first because he was the first part of the episode. I mean, everything was focusing on him in the first part. What Olmar did was the perfect choice, something that requires courage. And usually when we think of people who have a courage, we think about people who have the guts to stand up and fight, to stand up and say honestly what they want to say, etc., etc. But usually we have an image of a courage that is, oh, if we have to fight, I'm standing up and I'm going to fight for the defense of the people I love, etc., etc. In this case, Olmar did something contrary from all these. I mean, he stood up for sure to make a decision, but the decision that he made was not the decision that everyone was waiting for, because they were waiting for the usual answer. That means we will never surrender, we will keep going on fighting, because that's what usually we should do. When someone is attacking us, then we are going to defend ourselves. But if we do something like this, then this cycle of things will repeat for eternity. We will never be able to cut the ties. And in this episode, we are reaching this thing. We are reaching the ability to cut the ties from the usual circumstances that can appear in front of our eyes. And this is pretty awesome if you think about it, because Olmar, I understand this character, guys, because he was feeling guilty throughout all this second season. Guilty because he was not good enough, guilty because he couldn't handle a sword, guilty because he wanted to be somewhere else, but he at the end of the day stayed in the farm, guilty because he killed a person, guilty because he created all this mess, if you think about it. I mean, he was mocked, so he couldn't resist and he rebelled, and then thanks to his brother Torgil, he made it. I mean, he killed a person. That was something like a sort of initial ritual to take him somewhere else, to let him understand different things. And this initiation took him on the opposite side. I mean, usually we have seen that the people who start killing, then they get used to it. Or like the Vikings, they don't care. Like Thorgil, he doesn't care if he has to kill someone, right? But with Olmar, the destination was totally different, because with Olmar we see a person who felt guilty from the beginning. Immediately after he committed this crime, he felt guilty. And even later, he couldn't think about anything else rather than thinking of what he had done. And even when he came back to the farm, he felt guilty of that person he killed. And at the same time, he felt guilty also for the things that they were going to start happening immediately after, because Knut came to the farm to get his personal revenge by getting the farm, and because Olmar and Thorgil killed some of the men of Knut. As you can see, if that day Olmar didn't rebel, or rebelled in a different way, his life would have been different. And I really like the moment in which Olmar, by feeling guilty because of this, he is crying out loud and he's saying, I could have resisted this mocking thing that I was facing at that time. I could have faced it in another way. I could have resisted. It was better for me to not say anything, to not act instinctively. Yes, it would have been better, because if he did so, then there was now the chance for him to understand how does it feel to kill someone. But even what happened somehow helped him to find right now the courage to make a wise decision. Because in order to prevent other people from death, from dying, he decided to surrender. This is the real courage. While all of those other characters believe the contrary, believe that he is a coward because he stood back and he didn't want to defend his farm, his land, No, I understand Omar and what he says, especially when he is saying, I am afraid to see people dying. I am afraid that I can also die. He feels guilty also because of these thoughts, but there's nothing to feel guilty. There's nothing to feel embarrassed when you say something like this. You're just showing empathy, and that's the most amazing thing. While all the other people were used to find these conclusion to fight because fight is the right thing and it's the only one decision that people can make, Olmar demonstrates them that there is not just one way, that there are multiple ways, but sometimes we focus on one thing only and we don't care about all the rest because we are moved by this vengeful thing and we wanted to revenge who was killed, we wanted to protect our land, but is there not a way for real to defend that land? Is it true that there's no other way? No, Olmar showed these to us today. And I think that he was pretty courageous to be able to get rid of the land and save his persona because, yeah, at the end of the day, what's more important? To see all the people who worked for you dying for you, or to try to protect them by let them stay alive? I think the second one. And even if it's hard to believe something like this based also on nowadays fightings in this world and wars in this world, even if this sounds incredibly impossible to believe, so surrender is the most amazing choice because you prevent other people from dying. And this is the most important thing. Not who's right and who's wrong, but the way in which people can survive. And most of the times in the wars of nowadays, we forget about this. We only care about who's right and who's wrong, who has to be defeated, and who has to be controlled, what has to be done in order to protect a country. That means bombarding another country, etc., etc. No, that's the wrong way. The right way is to let all people in the world to survive from all these. And if we do so, that's the perfect conclusion of everything. I think that what Olmar did was pretty courageous. Yeah, when I said that Torgil was the real coward here, yes, he is, because he is always putting this shield in front of himself of fighting as an excuse to admit that that's the only way, that's the right way to do, and if you don't do this, you're a coward. So even this brother who is mocking the other brother by saying that he's a coward, Torgil doesn't understand. He misses the point, and that's what Thorfinn missed in season 1. He missed the same point. And even if Torgil is older than Thorfinn, as you can see, no matter the age, you can be convinced to do certain things, and it's really hard for you to change. Something has to happen that clarifies you, that what you have always thought was wrong. And in order to take another path, yeah, that's not something easy, but we should take the first steps first and be courageous enough to take the path that no one wants to take. That makes you for real courageous, and that's why I appreciated Omar in these, because by doing something that no one expected him to do, he was courageous enough. And even if no one was on his side, he did the best thing for everyone. And why did he decide something like this? Because before being called by Thorgil and all the others, he was petrified to see in front of his eyes sorrow, pain, war, battlefield, the result of a battlefield, the people who survived but they were injured, the people who were killed, the people who lost their arms, their legs, everything. I mean, Why do we have to reach that point? We demonstrate one more time how humanless we are when we reach certain levels like these. And that's why we don't deserve to be called human beings when this is the result, right? In fact, even Omar threw up because that's the perfect consequence when you see things like these. We are disgusting. We are able to become unhuman by doing things like these. And what's the point? What do we want to reach? We want to reach power? Yes, but then someone is going to defeat us anyway. We want to reach wealth, but then when we die, we don't bring with us this wealth. We fight for all the stupid things. And at the end of the day, the result is this. Other people are going to pay for what we want to do. Other people are going to become the victims of our choices. Are we human by doing something like this? No, we lost humanity by doing something like this. And that's why Olmar was courageous enough to bring humanity back. I mean, to give importance to humanity again. When all the people are thinking selfishly about their intentions, Olmar is thinking about the whole thing. I mean, while Thorgil, his mother, look, no comment. If I have to comment this, it's better if I don't do so. But anyway, Thorgil, his mother, yeah, Snake was different because Snake was listening to what was happening, and at the end of the day, Snake was mature enough. He was a real man to say, look, Olmar, I will not mock you for the decision you made. That makes you understand that Snake knows what's the right thing to do, but he was expecting, or he was waiting to hear Olmar's decision. And I think that when he heard Olmar's decision, he felt proud of him because he did the thing that Ketil couldn't do. Because do you remember in the previous episode, Snake was the one saying to Ketil, look, Ketil, we are going to lose. It's better if we retreat. It's better if we think more about what to do. And Ketil couldn't understand and couldn't stand these Snake words, because he said, what are you saying? We have to keep going on fighting, defending the land. So Snake understood that Ketil didn't get it. But Olmar, his successor, understood the point, and Snake was really, really happy to see this. The new generation that brings something good, that brings light after so many periods of darkness. That's motivating. I mean, this is quite inspiring, and I really like when mangakas, they do things like this. I mean, they want to praise, or they want to trust the new generations because they believe that the new generations can change, can do things differently than what happened in the past. This hope that never fades away, this gives us the ability to still believe in this world and in human beings, because sooner or later there will be someone who's going to change this environment that we have. We still have to have a faith in this. More than having a faith in God, we should have a faith in this. But no matter if there are days in which this hope fades away, we still have to keep going on thinking that nothing can stay the same, and sooner or later things will change. This is so positive. No matter how dark these episodes are, at the end of the day, it gives you positivity, it gives you the optimism to think, oh, okay, something is going to change for good. And even if Thorgil doesn't admit this, even if his mother didn't admit this, and she was pretty shocked, she was even behaving so bad towards Snake. Did you see as if she still wants to stand up and show her authority in front of all of them. But this authority is lost, and she doesn't get it. So once again, see, people who have a power, they can't admit to themselves that one day that power can vanish completely. They can't stand it, they can't admit it to themselves, no matter what happens, because they are not used to think like that. They are used to think that nothing can remove them from that status. But here, it's not a matter of status anymore. It's a matter of saving lives. And lives are all the same, no matter the social status, no matter the wealth, no matter the power. So what Omar did was crazy and amazing at the same time. He was acting like this because he even found that family, the daughter that was forced to have sex with him in one of the previous at the beginning of this second season. But in that moment, he felt even guilty. I mean, I think that Olbar felt even guilty for the bad things he told them at that time, because now this young woman's father doesn't have his arm anymore. He lost them. And Olmar is crying hard. He is throwing up. He has this reaction that perfectly fits with the moment. He feels guilty because he was the one who took all these people to be injured, to have their lives taken away, to have their routines taken away. He feels guilty. And in this case, instead of stepping back, do you remember at the beginning of the season, Omar was running away all the times because he didn't want to take any responsibility. Now this time, he didn't run away. He made this decision to feel better because he finally took the responsibility of his actions. And if someone has to show the face of the culprit, he did it. And even if no one can understand him, we viewers can, for sure. Omar's character had such a great evolution. At the beginning, he was the spoiled young man who didn't want to do what his father was saying. He had these illusionary dreams about what to do in his life. And immediately after, when he was facing the truth of how cruel the world can be, he retreated, but he retreated for something good. He definitely appreciates life. This evolution of a character is amazing also because of this. At the beginning of the story, his story, he wanted to fight and kill. He wanted to stand next to Knuto, and he wanted to serve him all his life, but now he will be the one who's going to say in front of Knuto that they will surrender. I think that that's the best choice because he wanted to work for him, but now he is so disgusted by what Knuto did. Okay, also because he feels guilty because he started everything, close the bracket. He wanted to serve that man, the man who destroyed all those people's lives, and he can't work for him because he also feels disgusted about this. He feels scared. That's awesome. I really can't wait at the moment in which Olmar is going to confront Knuto and he's going to say, look, we surrender. And if Knuto asks him, why do you surrender? I really hope that Olmar gives him the perfect statement that we need. That means I care about the people and I don't care about my social status anymore. I care about seeing people crying, people being desperate, people screaming out of pain. I care about the humanity. That is exactly what Knuto wants to do in such a hypocrite way. Look, at the beginning of the episode, finally, even this bad, evil consciousness of Swain is telling him, Oh, come on! Don't be such an hypocrite by saying, oh no, you can't do now Floki and all the others. No, you can't do this because the plan was just to do this. That's too bad to do something like this. It's going against the law. But come on, Knuto. When you wanted to attack this land, you were not feeling ashamed. So why do you feel ashamed for the rest of the plan? Or why do you feel ashamed if Floki and all the others are going to pilgrim all the village? That's ridiculous. That's hypocrite. And that's why hypocrisy is quite evident in Knuto's character. I mean, he's finding excuses to act as if he is the righteous king that makes a difference between attacking and pilgrim. What the F? At the end of the day, you killed lots of people and you decided to do so because these Vikings are working for you. And you know how Vikings are. What's the point to avoid them to get their rewards in their way? Because you did something wrong so far. So what's the difference? See, I have never expected such a change like this for Knuto, and at the end of the day, these Swain's consciousness talking to him all the time. He wants to kill people to reach heaven, right? That was a clear metaphor that was shown so beautifully by Mappa Studio here in this episode. But that mountain of corpses are the same corpses that we saw with Thorfinn in the episode of The Awakening. In that case, those corpses wanted to drag Thorfinn down and to bring him to that place where even Askeladd was. There were red tones of colors, where everything seemed to be hell even if it was not, right? Because it was the reality. And sometimes we make an excuse to believe, oh, that's like a hell. Yeah, but that's an excuse because that's what we do here. I remember when William Shakespeare was saying, hell is on earth. I mean, the demons are on earth. They are not in hell. They escaped from hell to come here. So this is the real hell. And I agree. I totally agree, and Shakespeare was saying this so many centuries ago, and nothing is changing, right? Knuto wants to kill lots of people, and he thinks that by doing this, by sacrificing all these people, he can reach heaven. I mean, he can reach the position of God, to be able to challenge God and whatever, when he is just taking the same path as Thorfinn did. And he doesn't even realize it. While Thorfinn was descending, he thinks that he is ascending, but he is not ascending, he is descending as well. I liked what I saw here. I liked that Mappa reproduced more or less the same scene by thinking that he is going up, but at the end of the day, it's all turned upside down. The more he kills, the more he will not reach that place that he thinks he can call heaven on earth. It's just something stupid. It's just something hilarious to believe, and Knuto doesn't want even to admit this. He still focuses on this idea, or at the end of the day, he feels trapped because there's no escape in this. I mean, once you know how many people you have killed, and I really like the moment in which Knuto is always watching all the people he killed so far. But I didn't understand if those people were his soldiers or the people that they were killed from the farm. I think they were the farm people over there who were killed, and Knuto was seeing all the people who died. But even in that case, yes, by looking at those people you killed, Knuto, how can you imagine that you can create heaven on earth? This is already pure hypocrisy, right? You can't comment on this by standing on Knuto's side. I wonder who is on Knuto's side. I mean, if we have to talk about the way in which he is characterized as a character, That's amazing. I mean, he made such a great evolution on the opposite side of Thorfinn, but we know that there is this contrast, that there is this necessity to create, let's say, a protagonist and an antagonist, or at the end of the day, this switch that was shown us in this second season surprised me and amazed me at the same time, because as you can see, sometimes you expect some people to be always the same, or to trust them because you have always seen them like you were used to. But then they can surprise you. They can become exactly the opposite of what you have always seen from them. And this is something quite unexpected. And in the case of Thorfinn, that's something brilliant. In the case of Knuto, it's something disappointing. The way in which Knuto is behaving right now, unbelievable. I can't find the proper comments about this. Because, first of all, even the voice of Swain says, you killed your father, you killed, that is himself, you killed your brother, and you still wanted to act as if you are the righteous king who's doing the right things by not rewarding these Vikings who worked for you to kill, and you wanted to act kindly by saying that, oh look, but before attacking you we gave you an ultimatum. I mean, we gave you a way to think about what to do, but you decided to not surrender, so I attacked you. Anyway, Knuto, you're not good. I mean, these are just excuses to have a certain reputation and a certain status in front of the soldiers they are working for you. And you don't also want to show them your weak points because you're afraid that one day those those Viking beasts are going to turn against you. So that's the only way, that's the only reason why you act as if you have the power to choose what to do. But let's just say that without the commander of your forces and without Floki telling you certain things, or without these Vikings working for you, you are less than zero at this point. And we saw this in the previous episode when Thorgil attacked him from behind. I mean, that was so easy. And when it's so easy, it makes you understand that this huge authority that he demands to have doesn't exist. And it also demonstrates how fragile, how lonely he feels. Usually, yeah, poor people, sometimes they think, oh, I wanted to be a king. I want to be powerful. But as soon as you reach that status, you understand how lonely you can feel, how alone you are in all that. Then you regret of deciding being the king because you preferred to be poor, let's say, but have not this heaviness on your shoulders to demonstrate, to always demand your power, to always attend the expectations and everything. That all this is consuming you. It's all this power of the crown that was well underlined. And Knuto is stuck in that dimension in which sometimes he says, oh, do it, attack, and then, oh no, I didn't tell you to do that thing. As if that thing can excuse the fact that he killed lots of people. No. But most of all, Knuto showed how coward he is in the moment in which he hears that Thorfinn wants to meet him. He remembers that Thorfinn was the only one who could scratch his face. And at that time, he scratched his face because he killed, passively speaking, but he killed Askeland. And at the same time, Thorfinn is the only one that by creating that scratch on his face, it's like as if the author here wants to tell you that Thorfinn has such a huge power to reach Knut. I mean, he was the only one who could reach his skin. I mean, his persona. He is maybe the only one who knows his weak points. And he is the only one who can cut and scratch him again here to open these scratch and to dig inside of it. Nobody so far could make it, not even his sister. I mean, when Estrid was trying to understand Knut more at that time when he was there visiting Harald, she couldn't understand what Knut was confronting in those moments. So only Thorfinn can dismantle, can destroy, can expose what Knut is for real. And Thorfinn is the one who can defeat that king without violence. Just with words, he can reach Knut. And Knut is so afraid. Even in this case, Thorfinn has a huge courage, not only to confront all the other Vikings over there, and we will talk about it later, but even the courage to confront Knut after so many years have gone on. To see Knut and how he changed. And at the same time, on the other hand, Knut is a coward and he is afraid to meet Thorfinn and to see if he changed, how he changed, or he is afraid that he wants to fight him. Knut doesn't even know, doesn't understand that Thorfinn changed so much. So Knut can be afraid of the fact that, look, if he scratched me last time, probably this time he wants to kill me. So this fear of losing life, that was one of the things that not only Olmar has right now. And maybe this can create something in common with Knut, even if it's something that we can understand that are quite opposite for different purposes. But Knut is afraid of dying. You know that he couldn't even trust all the people around him because probably he was scared that he could have been poisoned by others. So he's afraid to die. He doesn't know that Thorfinn changed so much. So if he connects himself with the memories he had about 4 years before, he knows another Thorfinn. He knows the violent Thorfinn, the one who wants to kill everyone, who doesn't care, etc., etc. So probably he feels scared that he is the only one who can definitely kill him. There's no way. Or probably he is afraid that Thorfinn is going to ask him about a duel, because Knut knows that Thorfinn has always wanted a duel to avenge his father's death, so probably Knut is afraid that Thorfinn, if they meet, he's going to say, can I have my duel because you killed Askeladd, so now I wanted to avenge that death because it was not you who was supposed to kill him, but I was. So Knut is afraid of all these kind of things. And I think that he is also afraid of the fact that Thorfinn knows him very well. You remember that Thorfinn even mocked him in season 1, and he didn't have any sort of problem to mock him at all, even if he was supposed to be the heir, the newcomer king and whatever. He didn't care. So he is afraid that he can contrast him or that he can use certain words because at that time Thorfinn was there as his guardian, so he knows his weak points for sure, and while all the others don't. And at the same time, he is afraid that Thorfinn can bring back into his mind things he wanted to erase from his mind. That means to open this scratch again. Yes, in fact, in opening 1, if I'm not wrong, I could see that the scratch was opening, right? And it's a metaphor. That means that injured is not recovered yet. Nothing like that can recover until you want, until you process it. And Thorfinn processed all that things that happened. So now those scratches will never open again. That resentment and that pain will never come back again into Thorfinn's life because he made a step forward. But Knuto is still stuck over there. And he needs someone that helps him to get over it and to move on and to do things for good. I mean, if you have these great purpose, do it in the right way. Don't create these shelters of excuses to pretend to be something you're not. Or maybe, yeah, something you were, but you're using unfair tricks to reach that level. You're using the easiest path. No, you should fight within yourself, and even if the path can become longer because it takes time to accept everything you have done and what you wanted to reach, the mistakes you made, etc., etc., it's better to take the long one instead of the short one, because you're just faking to yourself about something you are not, and Ketil was the clear example of how wasted his life was because of this. And that's why I was telling you that the title of the episode is so meaningful, because Knuto is not courageous at all. While he thinks that he's brave, showing this power, this fake power that he built based on excuses, unfair tricks, lies, and whatever, yeah, Thorfinn can destroy all of these. And he is not courageous enough to confront a courageous man, because Thorfinn is the other protagonist, as I was telling you, who is so courageous right now. He is not afraid of anything. And he wants to confront Knuto. He wants to have a peaceful talk. But there's no way that it happens, because we know that Knuto is not true to himself at all, and he's not true even to the people around him. How are we supposed to believe that Knuto wants to meet him? And in fact, yeah, I was surprised, but when I was thinking about it at the end of the episode, I was like, okay, that was quite understandable, because in this episode what's evident is that there are people who fake to be courageous, and there are people who really are courageous because they wanted to do something unexpected. They wanted to do something that it's not the usual method that was used so far. And in fact, this first method that Thorfinn wants to use now makes you understand how valuable he became. And what Knuto is doing clearly represents his constant way to hide from the truth, to hide from a danger coming. And that danger is not dangerous at all, but it's dangerous because it can contaminate the reputation that he built throughout all the years. So the reputation that becomes more important than the inner self. He is a sort of a pact with the devil that it's quite evident even in this story, when you decided to sell yourself to this power, to this wealth, but all these kind of things are not taking you anywhere. On the contrary, they are taking you to death or to have a miserable life. It's quite a typical subject that it's well used in many other stories. You know this already. He has always been coward. I mean, Knuto has always shown this to us from the beginning. Now he's going back to what he was in season 1. He's hiding behind other people. No, I don't want to meet Thorfinn. It's like in season 1 when Ragnar was talking for him because he didn't have the courage to speak up and say what he really wanted to say. Yeah, that's the same thing. Right now, these Vikings that are protecting him are talking for him, and they don't want Thorfinn to meet him as much as. Even the commander who said, should we accept these Thor's Noko, I mean these son of Thor's called Thorfinn to meet you? And he said, oh, it's not necessary. I mean, he's so childish. Canuto didn't grow up so much at the end of the day. He is just changing from the outside point of view, but from the inside one, there's no development. Not at all. I can't see the maturity of a king to stand up and face Thorfinn and say, look, I wanted to do this, but he can't do it in front of Thorfinn because Thorfinn knows him so well and can touch certain subjects, especially now that Thorfinn changed, that can destroy everything that he built so far. And I can't wait that this will happen, because it will happen. Also because not only Canuto has to confront Olmar, and you remember, yes, now I remember one thing. I remember how Olmar was reverent. I mean, when he met Canuto, then he stood up. Yes, in that moment, I was like, yeah, Olmar is different than the others. I don't know if I said it in that commentary or not for that episode, but when he stood up while all the others were going down on their knees to be reverent to Canuto in front of him, etc., etc., Olmar stood up and said, I wanted to work for you. And at that time, even in that time, that was pretty courageous, because all the others would have never done something like this. Olmar was different. And Canuto understood that Olmar was different. I don't know if all this is part of the main Canuto's plan, that means to have from Olmar a certain reaction, and then to create the excuse to conquer the land, and then to see what he is going to say. I mean, to try to defeat Ketil, so the one who was succeeding him was Olmar on purpose, so Olmar can make a decision. Maybe Canuto is waiting to see what Olmar decides to do, that was the most important thing for him to see, right? Also because he said to the commander, yeah, that Olmar will be so useful for us. Not only because he created that excuse for Canuto to counterattack and to get to the land of Ketil, but now more than ever, Canuto understands that Olmar doesn't have enough courage to keep going on fighting, or saying that they will keep going on fighting. He knows that Olmar was useful also because he's so sure that Olmar will say, I will surrender, so they gain the land. All this was orchestrated on purpose so that Canuto would have had that land. So strategically speaking, yeah, he is good, but Canuto misses the whole point, and Thorfinn will surely meet him. And then I wanted to connect myself right now with the last scenes, because Thorfinn wants to do something for the land. I mean, when Einar comes there and says, oh, but you do all this for Ketil? No. I mean, yes and no. Yes, because Ketil gave them the possibility to meet. Ketil gave them the possibility to work on something. Ketil gave them the possibility to regain certain dreams of freedom, or at least to create other good ideas in their minds to say that it's worth living. Ketil gave them an environment that was totally the opposite from the environment they were experiencing before. So yes, he is doing it also for Ketil, but he is doing it especially because of the land. I mean, Thorfinn is clear with Einar. He's saying, in that land, we spent days together, we enjoyed, we found humanity again, we found advice, we found each other, we spent time together, we discovered each other, we met people who were kind with us. So it's time to repay that kindness. And to hear this beautiful statement from Thorfinn, that's quite surprising, because if we were teleported into to season 1, Thorfinn would have said, it's time to pay because of this loss. I mean, you killed my father, so now you're going to pay for it. Now everything is turned upside down, and what he wants to do is to stay there, to stand up, to face these Vikings without even punching them, and to receive the punches instead, to repay the kindness that they both had at the beginning in these 3 years. So this payment that Thorfinn wants to pay back is something great, because now Thorfinn wants to show God. And you remember that now, thanks to Sverkel, he was listening the Bible, etc., etc. And you remember that in that Bible was saying, you should love your enemies. Do you remember? Yeah. In that moment, when he was listening the Bible, he was overthinking about what to think, and he was thinking more about what he heard. And now he is definitely doing those things. I mean, he is not wanting to use violence. In this case, he wants that the people, I mean the Vikings, feel so tired and satisfied at the same time to punch him. I mean, you can punch me until you feel tired, but when you feel tired, what you're going to do? Nothing. Because you finished your satisfaction of the moment. That's it. Are you sure that the satisfaction will continue? Or you need more? You will need more, right? But that's the wrong thing. Look what you're going to do to me. I mean, he will receive all these punches, but now it's the proper time for Thorfinn to show all these Vikings how wrong they are, to show Knuto how wrong he is. And violence or weapons are not necessary here. Words are necessary, and words can be a huge weapon. Words can destroy you if they want. Words can be so powerful that you don't need a kingdom under you. Everyone can become the king of himself or herself. In the case of herself, queen of herself. So there's no need of a title, there's no need of a status to be powerful and righteous. Every one of us can be powerful and righteous thanks to words. And the one who can use words better wins. So I can't wait to see what Thorfinn is going to say to Knuto, to all these Vikings who are punching him, etc., etc. But this is marvelous, because Thorfinn wants to be grateful for the things he received now, because it's a thanks to that land that he could change. It's a thanks to that land that he had the awakening. It's a thanks to Einar that it was possible. It's a thanks to the master. I mean, it's a thanks to Ketil, no matter if we want it or not, no matter how much we judged Ketil so far, but it's a thanks to Ketil that Thorfinn could turn his character upside down. And this gratitude now is to stay there and to be grateful in front of all these people who are trying to destroy that environment, to see how important it is to stand there and not to run away. Because if you run away, it means that everything you have experienced so far in those 3 years didn't mean anything, and were not part of any sort of a change. Thorfinn is changed, so he has to show it to everyone that he changed. Not only to himself, but also to the outside environment, otherwise it's pointless, right? So what he decides to do is totally fine. I am standing next to Thorfinn in these because he matured so much, and I trust, as much as Leif is saying, I trust those eyes, because those eyes are the same eyes as Thor's, and I'm sure that he will make everything for good. I can trust Thorfinn 100% right now. And Leif, yeah, he decided to let him go because he understood that Thorfinn had inside his heart something that had to solve before leaving that land. Because Thorfinn doesn't want to stay there, but at least he wants to repay the kindness he received by doing something great, by defending the same land that can give other people the opportunity to change. Because that land for him was like a promised land. I mean, the land where you can change, the land in which you can feel better, the land in which you have a peaceful routine, the land in which you can work and you can become independent, the land in which you can be free, the land in which you can laugh, you can spend time together with other people, you can cook with others, you can eat the meal made by others, you can enjoy, okay? So that land was already successful because it changed him. So as much as it could change him, it can also change other people in the future. So he wants to defend that land because that land gave him lots of opportunities, and those opportunities can be given even to other people that can come after. Because we understand that Thorfinn now doesn't care about himself only. He's caring about the whole thing. This was his own way to show God that there's no need to be God, or there's no need to be powerful to create something great. You can even be a slave and change the world. That's the most amazing subject. If I needed to find a connection, it reminds me of the Lord of the Rings, when at the end of the final movie is saying, even the smallest person can change the world, can change everything. And it's totally true. We don't need to be a president, we don't need to be the monarchy, we don't need to be anything. We can be common people, and inside common people's heart we can have so many common values that can make us feel the same, that can create a peaceful chain. Because we are tired to create horrifying chains, okay? It's time to create something that can make us feel as if we have something in common, that we can create something great. And this makes you understand that God is not up there. As a paradox, you can find God inside yourself. You can be the God. You can be the one who can change everything. That's totally inspiring, and I trust Thorfinn in these. I trust what Leif chose to do, because Leif, it's like a second father to Thorfinn, okay? And he knows that he will be back this time because of the eyes, as much as I told you in the previous episode. So even Einar, I understand him, because he is scared to lose his friend. He's scared that his friend is by himself. He's scared that Thorfinn starts being violent again. He's scared, and it's quite normal that Einar feels like this. But at the same time, even Einar needs to trust Thorfinn, because Thorfinn already showed him that he's different now. And even if he is afraid that he can lose him, Einar needs to step back and let Thorfinn do what he really wants to do, now more than ever. Because not only it's a proof for the outside, but it's also a proof for the inside, for the inner self of that change, to show that he is changed. Talking about Einar, yeah, I liked the moment in which he was thinking about Arnheid, until there was this ray of light, that it was like an epiphany. I mean, that was so beautiful. It's like a literature novel where you see in the Ulysses from Joyce, James Joyce, you see this myth of the Epiphany, where suddenly this light is shining and brings Einar back to life, brings Einar back to reality, because he was stuck over there thinking about Arnheid and her last words. But he can't stay over there, because if he stays over there, he will repeat the same mistake. So when the light was shining on top of his head, it was like as if the environment was telling him, oh, wake up. Don't you remember about Thorfinn? Where is Thorfinn? You have something else to care about. Huh? Even if Arnheid died and you loved her so much, don't forget about the rest. Because if you forget about the rest, you go back inside this dark tunnel and no one can save you. But you know that you're not alone, Einar, this time. That compared to the beginning of the story, this story of season 2, when Einar said, I have nothing else to lose. I lost my mother, I lost my sister, I'm alone, by myself. I don't have anything to lose anymore, right? But in this case, it's different, because Arnheid died, and we know how much Einar cared about her. It's totally fine that he's sad. It's true that he felt a lot for her. But now, Einar, you need to remember that you're not alone this time, that you have another dear person to take care of and to treasure, and that person is Thorfinn. And as soon as he realized, oh no, I forgot about Thorfinn. Do you remember at that time in that episode when he was focusing too much on Arnheid and Thorfinn was left behind? And even Einar recognized this, and he said maybe he wanted more attention from me. And he was happy for this. Even in this case, he realized, oh no, I made a mistake, because where is Thorfinn now? I was completely focusing on this, and I forgot that probably I'm going to lose even my dear friend, so let me go and find him. That was so beautiful to see, because you understand how Einar repents of the mistakes that he makes, and he tries immediately to fix them. And it's quite inspiring that too, because you should understand your mistakes and move on by learning from them, for sure. Yeah, I think that I told you everything that I needed to say to you guys. Let me just think a few more seconds. Yeah, I talked to you about Torgil, I talked to you about Olmar, I talked to you... Yes, last but not least, Sverkel was essential here. Sorry that I talk about him at last, but you know, the lasts are also the firsts. But anyway, Sverkel made something crazy if you think about it, because if no one was interrupting the decision that Torgil made, we would have seen other people dying. But it's thanks to Sverkel that he said, look, you can't decide, the successor is someone else, the successor is Olmar, and by being the descendant, he needs to choose. It's thanks to Sverkel that things will change somehow, and once again, Sverkel did the right thing. As much as he did the thing with Arnheid that was completely true and right, now he is doing this thing that is good as well, because he lets people understand that when they wanted to do some things, they should do them, and they should feel courageous. Arnheid was courageous to stand up and made her choice to go and rescue her husband. Olmar was courageous to stand up and say what he wants to do. That means he wants to surrender. So Sverkel is giving this input, he is giving this chance for them to shine and to be real, be true to themselves, because that's what Sparkle wants to teach them, let's say, to be true to yourself, to do things that you will not regret later, based on his experiences. And that was awesome because it worked. If Sparkle was not there and he was not wise enough, Torgil would have done the wrong thing. And this thing would have been repeated over and over and over again, endlessly. So even if Sverkel is going to die soon, at least in his last years, he did the proper things. So that's the best way to rest in peace later. So yeah, even if I didn't spend so many words about Sverkel, but you understood what I mean, and you understood my point. Yeah, I have to say that even in Vinland Saga, all the characters are essential. And I think even Snake is proud of Sverkel's words, because it's thanks to him that Olvar could take the proper choice. We know that Snake will stay alongside, and he will not leave him alone in these. So Snake has to fight now for something good, and he is happy to do so, because that was the fair thing to do. And you know that Snake has this principle in his mind, to do right things. As much as he stopped Ketil when he was beating Arnheid so much, and that was the right thing to do, even now he is appreciating what Olmar is doing. So great, this episode was amazing. Even when I was talking about Einar and this ray of light, maybe that was Arnheid showing him the right light. I mean, from the afterlife, Arnheid was opening these black clouds and reaching Einar to wake him up and help him to do the right thing. Who knows? These are multiple interpretations that we can give to this episode. Okay guys, thank you so much for the support. Thank you for keep subscribing to the channel, and see you next time with episode 22 of Vinland Saga Season 2. In the meantime, thank you so much. Keep doing what you wanted to do. I mean, it's all free here, so subscribe, click on the notification bell, and leave a like to support me. Thank you for the support so far, of course. Bye guys, see you in the next video. Bye!